This is the Tigers Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Detroit Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yes, that is how you end a series. That is how you make a statement. 4-0 win for the Detroit Tigers to win the rubber match over the Chicago Cubs. Welcome into a live Locked On Tigers Postcast. I am your host, Jake Riepma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Riepma. And this is the Locked On Tigers Postcast. It's your instant reaction show immediately following the final out made. And as always, we thank you for liking today's video and subscribing to Locked On Tigers, because this is your post-game destination. And oh yeah, you got Locked On Tigers every day, your team with Scott Bentley, free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And it's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Buckle up, because it was a big series win. We'll be talking about Jack Flaherty getting back to the 2024 Jack Flaherty, looking more like himself, 6 more scoreless innings today. And oh yeah, we're going to be talking about Riley Greene with a nice little bounce back after yesterday's golden sombrero, because there are a lot of people in my comments concerned about Riley Greene. How about 2 RBI for him, Spencer Torkelson as well? I'll have my talking point, our turning point, and of course, our player of the game. Your comments are welcome. Let's do it on a live Locked On Tigers Postcast. Fire up that comment box, but we begin where we always do, the biggest talking point for a series-winning shutout win over the Chicago Cubs.
This is what you'll be talking about.
We're going to be talking about the Detroit Tigers as the best team in baseball, making a statement against the best team in the National League, the Chicago Cubs. Now, yesterday, it's kind of the comparison of a heavyweight fight, right? Tigers punch first Friday night. You got your horse on the mound in Tarik Skubal. Yeah, Tigers had to have one. They go and take that. Cubs, too good of a team to lay over and get swept. They bounced back with 5 home runs yesterday. And today in the rubber match, you hand the ball to Jack Flaherty. He goes out and gives you 6 scoreless. And the offense responds after being lifeless yesterday. They respond right away. 2 runs in the first. And you got to give Spencer Torkelson a lot of credit. The 2-run double brings home Parker Meadows and Gleyber Torres, who credit to them for being on and setting the table early on in this game. And I'm not going to say it's a rout, but you get the momentum, you get the home crowd behind you, you get the excitement in the air, the recognition of the magnitude of this game, albeit June 8th, early June, but Johnny Kane talked about it just now on the post-game show, and a lot of people have been talking about, but the electricity at the ballpark over the weekend with a couple of first-place clubs going at it, and the Detroit Tigers making the statement today with the 4-0 win. So that's my biggest takeaway, and listen, good teams are going to bounce back the way the Tigers bounced back today after a disappointing day yesterday. And then add Riley Greene to that list, who I mentioned. The 2 runs batted in for him. That was the only offense this Tigers team needed because of the day from Jack Flaherty. He goes 6 innings, just 2 hits he scattered, struck out 9 Ks, 9 punchies, as we like to say, and just the 3 walks. He was just hammering the strike zone, which you love to see. And how about this? 12 swing and misses from Jack Flaherty. And then as far as the, make sure I have this correctly, he threw 59 strikes of his 94 total pitches. So Jack Flaherty starting the season 2-6. He's won his last 3 decisions. He's now 5-6 on the season, and getting back to the Jack Flaherty we know and love. That is huge, because as this starting rotation deals with the injury bug, obviously with Olsen out and the amount of time that Job will be out, we're not sure yet. And of course, with Casey Mize getting back into the rotation. But point being, all these guys have dealt with arm injuries or injuries in some capacity, and you're counting on Jack Flaherty to be the 1-2 punch with Tarik Skubal. And today he showed he can be exactly that guy. Lots of comments to get into, and that's what makes it fun. What a collaborative environment we've got on a Sunday, which, by the way, good Sunday afternoon to everybody joining the Locked On Tigers postcast. Always fun to be on after a win, and especially when you have the best team in baseball to talk about. DT Lion Hines is up first. That was one hell of a game for Flaherty. Indeed, it was. Curtis Seibert Jr. says, Alexa, play Detroit Rock City by Kiss. There you go. I hope my device doesn't fire it up. Fortunately, I don't have the Alexa device, but I'm right there with you. Gray Matter says, Kerry Carpenter made that throw to get Happ out at home plate look easy. Would love to see more of today's defense from Kerry throughout the rest of the season. Well, my friend Gray Matter, don't you worry. We've got more on that play in our turning point segment, because make no mistake about it, Kerry Carpenter's missile to home plate to Dylan Dingler, in fact, turned this game around. Sean Gray says, nice series win against a really good Cubs team. Absolutely. Which, by the way, shout out to the Cubs fans that were in the comments both the Friday and Saturday game. I like a little friendly banter, and it seemed like it was all friendly and respectful between the Locked On Tiger faithful and whoever the Cubs fans were. That's fun. It doesn't have to get ugly. It doesn't have to get heated or anything like that. Just some people talking baseball on the internet. Good stuff there. So Gary Myers says another series win. Enough said. Jason Walter, beautiful. The dude is up next. He says Jack's curve shutting down the Cubs, followed by the 1-2 punch of Canely and Vest. Yeah, the bullpen was really good today. Meant to get into that, and since you segued into it perfectly there, let's go ahead and look. Hanafi as well. He went on and pitched the 7th, and you got Canely in the 8th with that nasty changeup he struck out too. And Mr. Steady, Will Vest, those two, the best in the bullpen for sure for the Detroit Tigers, which we've talked about that bullpen for the Tigers, very, very top heavy, given some of the struggles from some of the other guys in that pen. It'll be interesting to see what moves are made or what direction Scott Harris and this organization go ahead of the trade deadline to maybe boost up that bullpen a little bit. All right, a couple more comments to get into. Rufus T-Cat, they did it in some amazing defensive plays for some extra fireworks. Absolutely. YouTube user says consistency is a great word to describe our Tigers. No doubt about it. Demetrius McNeil, I believe he was at the game. How about that? So excited to see the Tigers shut out the Cubs and win the series. Great game to go to. Looked like the weather was beautiful as well. And that's great stuff right there. I mean, I think Johnny Kane's tweet even said this, so shout out to my friend Johnny Kane. He's always on it, but hard to find a better place to be in the summer than Comerica Park watching the Detroit Tigers win a baseball game on a Sunday. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. Gary Myers with a great reminder here. Pitching and defense always wins. Indeed, it does. You got to love it. That's great stuff all the way around. I mean, I don't have any complaints. You really can't find any complaints when the Tigers do what they did. And a nice little off day tomorrow. I mean, I think this team earned it. They deserve a nice little off day. And then on the road to Baltimore, who Baltimore had been terrible. I don't know if you saw the graphic or not. I knew they got off to a bad start, but I didn't know it was a 20 games below 500 kind of start, 17-37 at one point in the season, but they have won, I believe, 10 of their last 14. So playing much better baseball. We'll look ahead to that. And of course, we're going to have our player of the game. So be thinking who you want for your player of the game, as well as our turning point from the excellent defense being played by the Detroit Tigers. Take a quick timeout. Keep the lights on here and Locked On Tigers, and all that is coming up next on a live postcast. Hey, this episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast, it's brought to you by our friends over at Wonderful Pistachios. If you're looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious, got some good news for you. You can crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios, yep, they're one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with the fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Take it from me. One of my go-to snacks during these Tigers games. Today wasn't a long Tigers game by any means when you have the great pitching, but some of these games get a little bit long. You're cracking open the shell and enjoying the Wonderful Pistachios, rich in nutrients as well. And how about the little green wonders that pack that protein punch. Don't forget, they provide all 9 essential amino acids and right there for you, wonderful pistachios. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. That's wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Wonderfulpistachios.com. Today's episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is also brought to you by our friends at Game Time. You got to download Game Time. It's the best ticketing app there is. And if you've ever decided at the last minute, hey, let's head to a ball game with some friends, some family, gather everybody up. It's game day. And you suddenly realize, well, I want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without any of the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, maybe a little bit of a combination of all of them. Maybe even invite a bigger group to come party with you at the ballpark. Game Time makes it possible. What did I say earlier in the show? There's no better place than Comerica Park on a sunny Sunday summer afternoon. It doesn't get any better than that. And Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. They've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guaranteed that takes the worry out of buying. I use the Game Time app all the time. My favorite part of it, the all-in pricing. This isn't even on the sheet. This is straight from me. I got you guys covered. All-in pricing, none of the crazy fees at the end of checkout. No, you toggle that all-in pricing. It tells you exactly what you're going to pay. That's my kind of language. Give me the bottom line. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for Locked On MLB. That's code Locked On MLB. Come on there, Jake. Locked On MLB. Locked On MLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Create that account. Redeem the code LOCKEDON MLB for $20 off. Locked On MLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right. The Tigers take the series from the Chicago Cubs, 4-0 the final in this one. There's a couple of turning points, so let's get into them. Without further ado, it's our turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Kerry Carpenter's defense. How about that? A little bit of a jam in the 4th inning for Jack Flaherty, and how does he work out of it? Well, he gets a little help from Kerry Carpenter, gunning down Ian Happ, who was trying to score on the base hit, and the throw into right field to home plate, connecting with Dylan Dingler, who applied the tag, and it was reviewed. Ian Happ doing the classic touch the helmet, take a look at it, review it. I think I'm safe. Not so fast, my friend. And that was a really important part of the game because at the time, it was only 2-0 Tigers in that 4th inning. And you got the feeling that, lost the microphone there. Everybody hang on, we're good. You got the feeling that runs were going to be at a premium. And so when you look at how important that 4th inning was, albeit still plenty of baseball to play after that, but Ian Happ leads off with a walk, another walk. So you got first and second, nobody out. You get the Suzuki striking out, swinging, and then Pete Crow Armstrong, which, by the way, I apologize, got a little mixed up in my abbreviations or analogy or initials. There it is. I said CPA yesterday. It's PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong. So I do apologize for that. Sometimes, you just get talking, only guy here, and you say the wrong name. It happens. When you talk for a living, you're going to say the wrong thing. But Pete Crow Armstrong singled to right field, and that's when Kerry Carpenter came up throwing and was able to gun down the runner trying to score, and Ian Happ throwing him out at home. Classic 9-2 put out for Kerry Carpenter, who showed off the arm. And then Carson Kelly then walked. So you still got you got 2 men on with just the 1 out, and with the 2 outs, and then you get the line out to center field. And Parker Meadows made a nice catch on that as well. But the defense turned this game around. Got to give major props there to Kerry Carpenter for our turning point with the throw home to tag out Ian Happ by Dylan Dingler making the tag to tag him out. Let's get into our player of the game. That's next. Let me know.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Player of the game. Jack Flaherty gets my vote. Let me know who you think. But Flaherty, 6 more scoreless innings. He's been fantastic over the course of his last 3 starts. Like I mentioned, he's won his last 3 decisions. And I was worried. I remember doing shows in May and maybe even a little bit earlier in April, in which you start to wonder, okay, Tigers made the move to get Jack Flaherty back in the old English D. And would they regret that? Had he regressed? And, of course, he had some struggles over the course of his career with the St. Louis Cardinals. But, boy, was he so good for the Tigers last year. And then, of course, helping lead the Dodgers to the World Series after the trade at the trade deadline that sent him to L.A. You get him back. And he's looking like the Jack of old. There's no doubt about that. 6 more scoreless innings today and getting to be that guy that you can hand the baseball to. For that confidence as a bona fide starter that can go get you a win in this league. All right. What a great show today. What a great weekend. And albeit yesterday losing the Chicago Cubs is not fun, but when you play a really good baseball team, you're going for that series win, and the Tigers get exactly that. An off day tomorrow, which we can all agree is never a bad thing. Although I will miss you guys because when there's no game, there's no postcast. Make sure you check out Locked On Tigers with Scott Bentley. He's always all over it. And on Tuesday, when the Tigers go to Baltimore, the starter for the Tigers will be Sawyer Gipson-Long. So good to see him back on the bump. He started in Chicago to kind of get back into the groove, but this will be his second start of the season. And let's see if he can give the Tigers a boost against a Baltimore Orioles team that is playing much, much better after their terrible start. So they're 26-37 right now, but they had a absolutely brutal start. Then Casey Mize will start on Wednesday, followed by Scooble, who will go on Thursday. So looking forward to that. It's always a pleasure to be on the air with you. Enjoy the off day tomorrow. Thanks so much for all of your participation, all of your comments, and it's always welcomed right here on the live Locked On Tigers postcast. Like the video, make sure you subscribe as well. If you want to check out MLB Game Night, that's a pretty cool show and a pretty cool ordeal that Locked On has going on with national coverage at the local level, where they have all the different Locked On hosts send in quick recaps of each team's video or each team's game. And that way you hear from the hosts of how each game played out. And as always, check out Locked On Tigers with Scott Bentley, the Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Great talking with you. Tigers beat the Cubs 4-0, and they take the series. See you next time on a live Locked On Tigers postcast.